Yeah, I invented gay YouTube. How much nipple are we showing, by the way? Oh, okay, this is very distracting. Please don't go back and watch any of my old videos. Every day at 4 p.m., this really hot boy right across from my apartment would...
Mute it, Mike. It's given White Lotus.
I'll kneel at that altar. Let's start a porn company. Our most popular model was 86, but there's only so many like sex toy videos that you can make. You think he's f***ing me with that thing? You think I'm much more ambitious than I am at age 41. I like being like the dad. Well, you're too young to know this, but like the internet used to be fun. Davey Wavey has left the chat.
Welcome to the gays of our days, and today we have the ultimate gay person here in our life.
A professional.
Okay, we cannot swear as much. My editor will have to bleep it a lot.
I don't know how.
No, I'm just kidding. It's like, yeah.
Wait, can I not say?
I don't know if it's good for YouTube. Yeah, I think
Good for me.
I mean, good for you.
Good for my soul.
Mute it, Mike. Okay, so we have my new friend here who is a fantastic YouTuber, has 1.6 million subscribers on YouTube. One of the first gay YouTubers in the world, if not the first. Do you think you're the first gay YouTuber in the world?
One of the earliest. I don't know. Yeah, I invented gay YouTube.
You kind of did.
Yeah,
you kind of did.
It was
so one of the first gay YouTubers in the world. I say you were at least top 10.
Okay.
Because you started YouTube in 2010. 2006.
6 or 7, yeah.
ChatGPT said 2006.
17 or 18 years.
Your name is?
Davey Wavey.
Davey Wavey.
Yeah.
Applause.
Also, my name is actually David Jakes. So I think as I've gotten like older in life, that this idea of playing Davey Wavey, it feels a little bit like a persona.
Okay.
It sounds like a cartoon character.
It kind of is, yeah.
In my 41st year of life, I like to use my...
You just spoiled your age in the first 2 minutes of the episode.
Oh, were we
I thought it was like we're gonna,
okay.
they were gonna keep it on, but
bleep it.
No, so 41 years old.
Yeah.
All right, so Davey Wavey. I would call you David, though.
You can call me David, yeah.
Right? So David started YouTube pretty early. And I think for me, I'm always very satisfied, or I'm always impressed with people who are like very first YouTubers, because it's so much easier now for me, or like people who are gay, right? Because like no one is gonna judge you as much, and you're gonna have like support a lot on the internet. But back when you started YouTube, it was different. It was very, very different. So my first question, where are you from? Like, where did you grow up?
So we are in my home state of Rhode Island. This is
beautiful house.
My little Christmas cabin. Look how cozy this is.
It's so cozy. This is actually a Christmas episode. Like, this is gonna air on almost Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much nipple are we showing, by the way? Do we want to show like little nipple?
You can be naked. You can be without t-shirt. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do t-shirts off.
Really?
You don't want to?
I don't know.
I don't care.
Okay. You set the tone. Oh, okay. This is very distracting.
Okay, so you're from Rhode Island.
From Rhode Island. But I will say this. You said you think it was harder when I started. In some ways, yes.
Yeah.
Like culturally harder to be an out gay person.
Because you have to like invent it.
Well, it was just there's a lot more stigma about gay people. But I think that it's actually harder now to start a social media channel because there's such an expectation of like quality and production and
competition.
When I didn't know I was doing it, and I used I swore again.
It's okay. Little blip, but
on my laptop, I just used like the little webcam, and I was like talking about the books that I was reading, and it was horrific content that would never do well today.
So you grew up here in Rhode Island, right? And
yes.
In 2006, you have an idea to start a YouTube channel. How did you come up with the idea?
But it was so different back then. YouTube was just starting, and I had like an online journal, like a lot. What were they called? Live journals? Anyway.
Tumblr, live journal,
like
yeah.
That, yeah. And I was like, oh, it'd be really cool to have a video component to it. And you know what you're doing.
Sorry, no, I was just fixing my hair. I took off my shirt, yeah.
And I was like, it would be cool to have video components. So in 10, 20 years, I could look back and see myself and what I was doing. It never occurred to me that anyone would be following along. And sure enough, like I started making content. I think my 8th video, I was living in Toronto at the time. My neighbor was masturbating. And I made a video about my masturbating neighbor that went viral for at the time, you know.
It was like 100,000 views, 5,000.
It was like 10 views.
At the time, it was viral.
Yeah. All 10 people on YouTube watched it. It got like a couple million views.
Couple million views. In 2006.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And so
wild.
People started subscribing to my channel, and I was like, what the I was like, who are these people?
Uh,
Why are they commenting? I was really put off, but very quickly realized that there was at least an opportunity, but maybe even a responsibility to engage this audience of gay men. And so a lot of my initial content was about like coming out of the closet, like how to be yourself.
that's how all gay YouTubers start.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is like,
And now that content is so cringy, but it is. Truly. Please don't go back and watch any of my old videos.
you mean your content right now? I thought that you say if someone is gonna make coming out videos cringy.
I'm sure they would do a better job now than what I did in 2006.
I just agree. Like, I feel like it's such a YouTube was such a like no one knew you couldn't make money from YouTube back then, could you? I think it was very early on.
Yeah,
I don't think you could make money back then.
I think I did.
You did already from the beginning?
Maybe like a couple years in. Once Google bought YouTube, I started making ad revenue.
Yeah.
Girl, and those were the good old days because they weren't differentiating between like sexy content and like
They were just
running
monetizing
ads.
everything.
Yep. They didn't care. You're talking about whatever. Like it was the good times, girl.
So you said that there was a story your neighbor was masturbating.
Yeah.
And you really wanted to share this story.
Had to.
I'm like very curious because like it's very intimate. Like a lot of people would be like, oh, like, you know, I don't want to share it because it's like too sexual. Very like, do you consider yourself like very sexual person, or like where does it come from that you're like you own a porn studio? I know, no.
Yeah, I do own a porn studio and just talk about sex professionally.
But like you
So, yeah,
got to this, yeah. Because you said you started with like doing books.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere we're switching from books. We're
No,
switching to like my neighbor's masturbating.
It's a fair question. I mean, it was the most interesting thing that was happening to me was that like every day at 4 p.m., this really hot boy right across from my apartment would put like 1 foot on this side of the table, 1 foot on this side of the table, and stroke his, I think he was a webcam boy.
In Canada.
In Canada, yeah.
And
Just make some coin. Make those loonies and toonies.
And he was hottest.
Oh, girl. Like, oh my God.
Was he tall? Was he short?
He was sitting, so I couldn't really tell, but he was perfect.
For how many hours he was doing it?
It was like 30 minutes.
Okay.
So I think he had like a 30-minute shift, and he'd make his loonies and toonies and get on with his life. But
How did you find him? Like, did you just look at
just
the...
looked out my window, and he had this like spread eagle. So, and I hope this isn't true, because I think I have this memory of even like I would try to get his attention. And I think increasingly like escalating ways. I never got his attention, but I'd be like cleaning my window.
Bitch was like
yeah.
naked cleaning.
I actually have this memory. This can't be true. I hope this isn't true. That I got like a laser pointer. I hope I did not get a laser pointer.
What do you mean laser? Oh, you
Like
tried to...
blinding him, be like.
So he was masturbating and you were just like trying, hey, I'm here.
I hope I didn't do that.
It's given White Lotus.
It's giving like desperation.
Yeah,
That's what's giving.
desperation. So the shift was from the books because that was the most interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Started from the books, ended with the porn. So it was the
Yeah.
most interesting
It was
thing.
a quick pivot.
Yeah.
From books to penis.
So you got a couple million views, and then you started like doing, you know, coming out videos and all this stuff. What was the reaction in 2006? Because it was a different world. Like, did you receive like, oh my gosh, we love you, you're so cool?
Well, you're too young to know this, but like the internet used to be fun. The internet used to be a fun place, and
It's not anymore.
it's
a scary and dark
it's a
place.
cesspool of humanity. And it used to be fun. It used to be fun and joyful, and that kind of content was engaging, and people had like there was joy.
It was new.
Totally. And there was a sense of community for those people that are watching that remember like early 2010s, like 2012, 2014 YouTube. It was this really vibrant, wonderful community of folks that like supported one another.
It's gone.
Gone.
So you say it was just like fun, easy. You didn't really...
Yeah, I mean, sure. Like the content I was making was in a world that was less receptive to gay people. Like gay marriage hadn't happened yet in the United States. And so you come up against that a little bit. But I mean, I think it's a much more challenging environment now to create LGBT content than it was back then. And there's less community to support.
What an interesting take.
Yeah.
Right? Because a lot of people would say, yeah, like we paved the way for you. So now you can just be gay by yourself. You can just like monetize, have OnlyFans. Straight people start doing, pretending that they're gay. You know what I mean? Men.com. Or like, you know, all these people start pretending they're gay. And you say still that it's harder now, you think?
Yeah, I think because the internet feels like a cesspool. Anytime I make a video that talks about trans folks or being, non-binary, we film with models of all different expressions. Like the amount of vitriol and everything is seen through this lens of politics, and everything is so polarizing now. It's just like, I'm just like, okay, like Davey Wavey has left the chat.
You're living in Canada, right? And your journey was like, did you just become a full-time YouTuber right away? Or like, what was your career?
Yeah, a couple years. I worked for a nonprofit called Family Equality Council.
Period.
It was for gay and lesbian parents,
Okay.
like adopting and surrogacy. And it was just very quickly that I realized I could affect more positive change and reach more people through my YouTube channel. And there was more opportunity to grow and evolve as a business person. So a couple years in, I quit my job and did YouTube full time. And then at some point on YouTube, they started to differentiate between content that was considered
Adult.
Yeah. So that ad revenue went, and so I would do more video sponsorships, right? But there's only so many like sex toy videos that you can make with.
There's only so many sex companies.
There's only and views go up and down, and it was a lot of stress to be like, okay, every quarter we have to hit this many sponsor videos. At some point, like 8 or 9 years ago, I was working with my assistant at the time, and we were like, jokingly, like, let's start a porn company. And we like laughed, and then we were like, no, let's start a porn company. And so then the question became, if we're going to do this, there's so much porn on the internet. Like, what can we create that doesn't already exist? And what doesn't exist on the internet is gay porn that shows real sex, that shows actual pleasure, that shows good sex.
With gay people.
With actual gay people.
Yeah, I guess a lot of straight people try to do it.
And to create a site where, sure, you could have like the really hot porn stars that you know and love and follow on Twitter, but also everyday people, so that when someone goes to the site, they can see a reflection of themselves too. Otherwise, like if you go to men.com, whatever, the type of guy that you see, it's like the same thing. Big muscles over and over and over and over again. And it sends this message that that's the only body that's worthy of touch or desire or pleasure. And so I think it's a lot more interesting to create porn. Sure, that includes some of those guys, but also a broader spectrum of sexiness. And sometimes in ways that can challenge the audience. We film porn with bears and older guys. Our most popular model was 86. And I think that's really confronting for people.
You had 86-year-old porn model? And he was performing at 86?
Yeah.
What was for how long?
Let me tell you, that man's show.
Is he still around?
No, he's no longer with us.
Oh my god,
He's no longer with us.
Oh my god.
But he's immortalized on Himrose TV. Yeah, so
rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Yeah, Norm was incredible.
How did he come up? So your older support model was 86.
Yeah.
How did he show up? Like,
what do you mean?
Like, where did you find him?
When we film, we work with sex coaches, and one of the sex coaches was friends with Norm. And I have to tell you, like, Norm is very sexy and very smart and very sweet. And when he got naked for camera, I had never seen an 86-year-old body before, right? And listen, we're all on a journey to
yeah.
I hope I make it to 86.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's
I hope I make it to 50.
Yeah, it's confronting to see. Like, it's not a body that you typically see on camera. And he's really beautiful, but it really takes you a moment to like recalibrate. And it's also hard to be attracted to what you never see.
Who was his partner?
He did a solo scene.
Okay.
And it was him touching his body, and he was having a memory of sex that he had when he was younger. And we had Joey Mills and Lane Rogers play
Joey.
So as he touched his nipple, like Joey was touching his nipple, and we kind of cut them in between. We called it Blessing of the Elder, and he did a voiceover where he was blessing the younger generation of gay men to have like
that's so much thought.
Sex.
Yeah. There's like so much thought. It's like the whole production.
Yeah.
It's not that just mad. It was like, bro, what's up in the gym?
Right, just fucking in a hotel room.
Interesting. 86 years old. This is very impressive. Like, again, I'm not ageist. I just think that 86 is, it's...
We, in this society, like, neuter people once they hit a certain age.
Gay people do. Like, once you're 30, you're gone.
Well, remember Betty White, like that comedian?
I know who she is. Yeah.
People think she's funny because she's like, well, she's dead obviously now, but like she was 90 years old and talking about sex, and it's like, if I hit 90, I'm gonna be a horny fucking bitch. Like I hope
You think
that.
so?
I hope so. I hope that when I. What was funny about her was that she was old and talking about sex. I'm like, that's not funny to me. Like I think that old people do have sexual desires and arousal, and we should normalize that.
I don't think it's true that people don't have or they stop wanting it.
No,
You know,
yeah,
I
of
think
course
people
not.
want to do it all the time. Sometimes people just have like diseases that can prevent them, you know, from getting hard and stuff. Like that's more probably broad where it comes from. You know, like if someone has cancer or whatever, then they're older, they cannot
Yeah.
perform anymore. But I feel like people want, I don't know, we have older audience. You guys let us know in comments if you actually want to have sex on a daily basis and you're over, let's say 70.
Yeah.
70. Let's see how many people want to have sex on a daily basis. And if you want to have sex on a daily basis and you like to watch some stuff, please check out Himras TV or check out my VIP page. We are welcome to help to everyone. Or check out like just Instagram pictures. Don't forget to smash the like. Okay, so you got to this. We have to promote.
love the plug.
We have
I
to
love the plug,
promote.
yeah.
So there was a demand for these videos.
I think there was a curiosity around it more than a demand, and people wanted to see something that they hadn't seen before. This is what's interesting to me is that we as a culture, we have chosen young people to embody our sexuality. So when you look at like the porn stars that are popular, there's some in their 30s and 40s, but a lot of them are like 20 something years old. And the truth is, like, sex is something that you learn over time. And I, at 41, know a lot more about sex than I did when I was
25.
25.
Yeah.
And yet we're expecting these, you know, very young people
To
to
show us how
embody.
to do it. Yeah.
Right.
Doesn't
And-
make sense.
Right. And so to see someone that's 86 that's been having gay sex for probably twice as long as you've been alive.
Survive epidemic.
Oh, totally. That he had so much to offer and he was so ecstatic.
Yeah.
And he was so in his body. Like, even if you're not attracted to older guys, you might find yourself turned on by what
Confidence.
he's...
Yeah. I like
Listen.
it. You created the porn company 8-9 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And that was kind of your journey from like just relying on YouTube. I don't know if it's too private. I'm always curious as a person who does YouTube. On the days when there was no like differentiation, right? When they ran ads all the time and it was more possible to do money. What would be like the most like video that gave you like the most money from one video? What would you be able to make? Like, would you be able to make like $10,000, $5,000 from just like a single video?
Back in the day, we had these things called, I think they're still around. I think I'm still signed to one, but they're called like MCNs, like multi-channel networks. And they would guarantee you like a rate per 1,000 views. So you get like $3.50, I think, per 1,000 views. But it depended on what you talked about. If it was like makeup,
finance,
you get $7 per 1,000 views. So I would get like 10 million views per month. And so they would have to give me a check of $35,000 for that month. They didn't necessarily recoup that in ad revenue, but that was kind of the idea. Like they would sell your channel as part of a package of other channels, and
it's not as good anymore sometimes. I mean, sometimes it's good. The most I made on YouTube in 1 month was like 6,000.
yeah.
So
Yeah. I make like a couple $100 on YouTube videos now, even though the view number is the same because I have more videos. It's just no one's running ads on videos
that
where
are
it's
like
the
18 plus.
real versus dildo challenge doesn't get a lot of Coca-Cola money.
You know, you've been doing YouTube and like doing this sexual videos a lot. Did you had a point when there was like, oh my gosh, I'm scared of continuing doing it because the internet has changed, right? It became a dark place. Do you remember a point or like a story when you're like, okay, like I'm kind of scared continuing doing it. What if someone is gonna find me? Like, should I stop doing it?
So back in January of 2021, this was right after the insurrection. I made a video with a fellow Ukrainian, and he's super sexy. And in the video, I was kind of like ass up behind a like a little curtain, and it was called "The Real Dick versus Dildo Challenge." And there was a sex toy company that came out with this line of like ultra realistic dildos, with like foreskin, like everything.
Insane.
So I heated them up in the sunlight so they'd be like body temperature, and I had to guess whether it was a dildo or Igor's inside me.
Okay.
Yeah, couldn't tell.
It was so good.
Couldn't tell.
Oh my gosh.
Because the dildos were also warm.
Interesting.
You can't tell.
So it's like you warm them up In a battery?
just outside, just
Oh my
outside in
gosh.
the sun,
Okay.
and inserted them. Igor inserted them and couldn't tell. So anyway, post that video on the internet. The video goes viral, but it went viral kind of amongst the Trump community. And at the time, YouTube was, I guess, pulling videos that talked about like the election being stolen or was putting a disclaimer under them or something. And so Trump's supporters were like, this, we're not allowed to talk about the election being quote unquote stolen, but like this gay guy is literally taking like, yeah, up, like
Yeah.
up his ass on YouTube, and that's allowed. And so all the comments were like, it very quickly escalated into like, if Hitler were still alive, like this gay person wouldn't exist, blah, blah, blah. Not such nice words. And I think people have said terrible things about me on the internet, like
For
forever,
years, yeah.
forever. And it doesn't bother me, but I think because it really doesn't, but I think because the insurrection had just happened, the idea that maybe this online discourse would lead to something physical in real life felt very real, felt very present. And I was living in Palm Springs at the time in a house that was entirely glass. And I was like sitting on my couch. I called my parents and I was like, I'm scared. Have you ever seen Taken with Liam Neeson?
Mm-mm.
Well, my dad was like Liam Neeson, and he was like, listen to me and listen to me very carefully. He's like, you're gonna go around your room, you're gonna lock every window, lock every. And so I went around my house. I was like, Dad, everything's locked, everything's locked. And of course, like half my windows were like unlocked. The doors were like wide open. So I went in and
You're
like,
naked.
locked everything. And I had a really good alarm system there, and I had a panic button.
Okay.
And I made like a necklace out of it.
Okay.
And I like sat on my couch with like the panic button around my neck, and like just waiting for someone to show
That's
up with a
clever.
gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you sleep with it too?
I think I did for a couple days, and eventually it blew over. But I mean, I was getting like tens of thousands of comments. It was getting millions of views.
Did
this
they try
video.
to find your address? Did they try to dox you? Not that you know about.
Yeah, I don't know. I did have someone once show up to my house in Palm Springs. I was having sex with this boy, and so he did this. I'm gonna recreate. So he's like down there, and then he looks up at me, and then I see his eyes go like that to the window behind me. Like every hair on my head just like stood up, and he goes, "There's a man in your window," and I was so scared that I couldn't even like turn around for a couple seconds, and then I did, and there was
And you're like, what's up?
yeah, I was like, "You want to come in? You want to join?" Yeah, and there was a man watching it, and my buddy was like, "Does he come here a lot?" And I was like, "I have no idea." So that was pretty scary.
But how did it end? Did you just
I
like?
built gates. I built gates around my house, like.
But at this point, when did he just left when you noticed
Yeah,
him?
as soon as we saw him, he left, and I had already ordered actually gates for my driveway, and I was like, that felt really extravagant. And then after that, I was like, I can put barbed wire on them, like
No one is coming in.
uh,
That's kind of scary.
it was.
But
So
it
scary.
died down, so you're like, after this moment, you kind of like, oh.
Yeah, and now I'm no longer relevant, so no one shows up. It's fine. Yeah. I live out in the woods here. No one, you couldn't find my house if you had the address.
Yeah, it's pretty hard, but
Yeah.
it's a beautiful neighborhood.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a
Thank
beautiful
you.
neighborhood. So you think the internet changed, and do you think it's the politics that changed it?
I think it's everything. I think we're tired, we're exhausted, we're stressed. Like we don't. Do you find that like the version of yourself that's on the internet is like the best version of you when you're interacting with people?
Do you mean when I create content or when I watch content?
I mean, like, do you go? I know you have a boyfriend, but do you like go on Grinder and like Tinder or anything?
To just like promote or what? Or to just like have sex?
Have sex.
Not really. But I do have Tinder profile, so I get like, because I have Tinder profile, I have like OF people who want to subscribe. They go to Insta.
You are about the money. Like you're
Not always.
you're such like a little business person. I mean, like for fun. Like yeah,
But what do you mean? What do you mean like this by internet?
like I find that when I interact with people like on Grind, like I have an open relationship. I'm on Grinder. When I talk to people, I'm so like short. Like I never give someone. I'm not leading with like empathy or compassion. And I think like it's because we're all like stressed and we're exhausted and like we just don't have, I don't know, the bandwidth to like extend.
I think it's honestly like, I don't know if it's not just like man's nature, like to be very short, straight to the point, and like, you mean like, hey, do you want to have sex right away?
No, I
Like
mean
what happened to hello, how are you?
no, like if ask someone like, hey, like, where are you at? Like, do you have any pictures? Whatever. And like, and they answer one question, and I have to like repeat myself, and then I'm like, feel like I'm pulling teeth. I'm just like quick to like block or
That's
like
what I've always did though.
what?
I like when I was single,
Yeah.
if someone doesn't have picture,
Mhm.
I say, "Do you have picture?" And they say no, and or like they say something that I have to repeat, it's just immediate block.
And then that's
And
yeah.
also what I did also on Grinder, if someone has like just a body picture and then they hit me up
Hmm.
and then say face and they send me their face and I don't like the face, I just block them.
Hmm.
And it can look cruel because like it can hurt them, but this is just like if you had face on Grinder,
Yeah.
I would not just respond to you.
Yeah.
So you kind of do it to yourself, or it's you pay enough for being DL, or you pay enough for it's pretty cruel. Someone sends you a face picture and you just block them immediately.
Right.
But I'm looking from this perspective, like if you had face picture in your profile, that would not happen because I would not respond to you because I know that you're not my type. Nothing personal. They might just not be my type.
Hmm.
Like I'm just not attracted to this person. So I totally agree. But I think it's just our culture also because you don't have time. Why would you want to like always beg for pictures? Like I don't want to beg for
I
pictures.
know. I know what you're saying. I just find myself cuntier online than I want to be. I want to be a little bit more
I
compassionate.
want to be more
And I'm
kind.
not.
I agree with you. I want to be more. I just talked about it on my Instagram yesterday. It was like if someone is gonna like I went to Trisha Paytas concert recently, right? And someone is gonna say on in the comments
She
that
sings?
it's she's singing.
I'm not saying like shady. I just didn't know that she
Yeah,
sings.
she's like she made like 200 videos, music videos,
Oh
and she
wow.
does a lot of
Okay.
covers. But it's not like professional, super, but
Yeah.
she's still good. But basically, someone said in a comment that I don't know how stage is handling her, or like because they're trying to say that she's fat, right?
Oh, okay.
So before sometimes like 99% I would not respond to something like this. I either block person or
Hmm.
just like leave it alone.
Yeah.
But then I would like just sometimes go to their profile and I would be like, I respond back in comments from my profile, not from the account. I was just like, I don't know how's your hairline hanging out there. It's about to be gone, so really focus on it. So, it's just this short slap back. And I've noticed that it became more in the past year when
Hmm.
I just like kind of want to like, kind of even like, I know it sounds too much, but like change the culture that if you are snarky about someone's looks, what they are, who they are, and you're putting your comment out there, you should be ready. People will respond with the same things.
But counterpoint, I would say that that person got what they wanted because negative attention is still
Yeah,
attention.
but I got what I wanted. I kind of was
Okay.
like, you know what I mean? Like,
Everyone left that situation
yeah,
with getting what they want.
yeah.
But the world was left a cuntier place.
It is the contrary place, and I understand that I want to be more kind because, like, when I do this, I was like, "Damn, I kind of want to be more wholesome. Like,
Hmm.
I just want to be like nice and kind." But I also like so tired, especially like when someone says something about my boyfriend, I can like slap back. When it's about me, no, not really, not as much. But when it's like Trisha Paytas, like, don't come after. It's like I'll
Hmm.
slap you back. But I agree with you. But this is just like within the last year, I kind of feel like sometimes in order to become kind more, sometimes we need to teach people to stop being mean, because being mean, I feel like people just have this, they cross these barriers on the internet. They think they can say whatever, they can give you opinion about the way you look, the way you talk, the way you do anything. And I feel like internet, it's like free speech, right? but,
Hmm.
but I feel like it would be like good a little bit of policy sometimes, just like you don't have to be mean unreasonably.
I think the difference is now that like we are all in survival mode with like the political climate being what it is, that everyone is living their life at like a 10 out of 10, like in terms of like anxiety and stress. And so whether it's in the grocery store and someone cuts you off with a shopping cart or on the highway or in a comment on an Instagram post, that like we, because we're like already there, it just takes just the littlest things for us to snap. And I want to just like insert a breath before I have these like I want the world to be a kinder place, and of course that starts with me being a kinder person.
I think it's a good
I'm
start.
just not there. I'm just not there.
But also, like, I look at it from perspective, like, my country is getting bumped,
Hmm.
and we're here, like, fighting against, like, other things. And there's a lot of places in the world when people actually, like, allowed more to be snarky and stuff. But, like, we really need to be, like, better, at handle, because we're like very lucky to be here. In putting things into perspective, just because of where I came from, but it doesn't mean that it has to discount our feelings here. Like people were always like dying, like Kim Kardashian. I mean, people are dying. Like people were always like, it's always war and whatever. It doesn't mean that that we have to not care about our feelings. But I just feel like more gratitude sometimes. I was like, okay, when I want to live 10 out of 10, I was like, okay, there's somewhere in a world when like people don't have food and stuff, and we're here fighting about like important issues, right? Trisha's weight.
Yeah,
It's like,
you know,
like it's just put things in a perspective. I don't know why we went into this topic.
well, I'll tell you what helps me is like I live in the forest and I have all these gardens and I spend my time planting tulips and pulling weeds and like that, putting my phone away and like connecting, like getting my hands dirty and connecting with the nature and the natural environment nourishes my soul and gives me, because as much crazy shit is happening in the world, like when you're out in your garden or in nature, just in that moment you get a little bit of peace, and that's what recenters me. That's why I love living out here.
I think it's very important to like be aware of like short form content eating you, and it's like constant stimulating, because I get anxious like without no reason. Like I have great life and I just get anxious. Like, okay, my screen time is like 14 hours per day. So
No, it's not.
I'll show you. Hold on. Let me see.
Mine was 2 hours and something.
Settings. Hold on.
I'm starting a farm. I'm gonna start a farm.
What are you gonna put?
All sorts of like vegetables. Well,
okay,
listen,
so my screen time daily average is 12 hours and 57 minutes.
girl,
12 hours and 57. I don't know if you guys
I've never
can see.
seen something like that in my life.
Yeah. My number one is most used
Grindr.
TikTok, Instagram,
Grindr.
YouTube. It's not Grindr here. Chrome, Messages, X, Safari.
I'm gonna start a farm, and because listen, if we're going back, I'm ready to go way back. I'm gonna be baking bread. I'm gonna be barefoot. I'm gonna be like growing tomatoes, and I think I'm gonna even build like little tiny houses on my property so my friends can like live on the farm, almost like a commune, maybe a cult. My boyfriend has
Somebody save me.
I don't know. I was just gonna get a little too well. Okay, I'll say he doesn't care if I say this.
Yeah.
My boyfriend has you saw it already. My boyfriend has a really big penis. He loves when I show people his penis.
9.5 inch.
Okay, yeah. Well, there we go. He has a really big
9.5.
So that can be like our cult.
I didn't see it in real life. Just I saw it on the phone.
Just the picture. You saw it as however. We can worship his in my
Here?
cult.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
my farm.
That could be your religion.
Yeah.
That's a good tax write-off. Yeah, because if you do your church.
I'll kneel at that altar.
Yeah, if you do your
the
church.
altar of 9.5 inch.
Yeah. All right, so.
Amen.
All right, so I'm going to ask you a couple questions, okay? This is going to be very rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Okay. What's the gayest thing in your house?
Oh, God. How could I pick?
Just like one.
You.
Oh, besides me. I'm actually very straight.
Yeah.
Versed up.
Okay, Jan. I think the portrait back there, which is again, people weren't supposed to know this, but whatever. It's a nude drawing of me.
Okay.
But listen, wait, this sounds terrible because it's like, oh, I have a naked portrait of myself in my house, like hanging next to my fireplace.
It's good for content.
Okay. I did it because it's my backside and no one would know it's me. And I really like the artist.
You would not tell. It's just
you can't
it's
tell.
just like a man's body.
My family has Thanksgiving dinner here. They don't know whose hole that is back there, but it's mine.
Okay, question. Do you prefer pits or nipples?
On other people?
Yeah.
Nipples.
You like nipples?
Yeah.
Top or bottom?
I live in a post top bottom world. My entire
Explain it to the people.
Yeah. Look. Y'all thinking in this binary and you're limiting yourself from having really great sex, that your entire body is wired for pleasure. And yes, penetration is great, but there's so many other things that you can do. And I would invite people to step outside those boundaries and to get creative.
Who's your gay internet crush that you would want to have sex with? Who is on YouTube or TikTok?
I don't want to say it because I don't want to give him that satisfaction. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
It sounds like drama. Do we know him?
He just doesn't need. Yeah. Yeah, you know him. I'm not whispering. Yeah.
I know him.
I know her.
Okay.
I know her.
Well, I'm sorry I made you uncomfortable with this
It's
question.
not uncomfortable. I just don't want to give him the satisfaction of knowing that I want to have his children.
I just did it for preview, so we can put it like I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You want to have his children too?
Oh, listen, if we're having sex, like I'm getting pregnant.
Okay, cool. All right, and the last question: the gayest city you think is in U.S.?
The gayest city?
Yeah.
Palm Springs.
You really like it that much? You think it's the gayest?
I didn't say I like it that much. I said it's the gayest.
Okay, just based on like
The
how many.
question wasn't what's my favorite city in the US. You said what's the gayest.
Okay, what's the favorite gay city in U.S.?
Oh,
Like the
favorite gay city?
Yeah,
Well,
like
then what are my choices? This is so complicated.
and just like one city: L.A., New York, Rhode Island. I mean, it's a state, but Palm Springs. Okay,
I'll say Providence, Rhode Island. I like
Providence.
Providence.
Okay, very
yeah. It's
patriotic.
Very gay, yeah.
Are you single? You say you have a boyfriend
I have
now.
a boyfriend, yeah.
Yeah. How long you guys been
9
together?
and a half inch penis.
9.5.
Yeah, I don't know if you've heard.
How long you guys been together?
We met in like May or June. What's this month? December? It's
Yeah.
Christmas.
So 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. How
Yeah.
does it go?
Very nicely, thank you. Thanks for asking.
How did you
Yeah,
guys meet?
So I met him on Tinder,
Okay.
and he said to me, "What are you looking for?" And I was like, "I had."
You had a short temper again. I was like,
I
pictures.
was like, "F you,
Yeah.
you piece of." No, I was like, I'm 41 years old. Well, I guess I was 40 at the time. I'm looking for intimacy and connection and something real. A guy that's emotionally vulnerable. Blah blah blah. And he goes, "Oh, awesome! I'm looking for hookups too."
Oh.
And I was like, "Girl, that's not what I said."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh." And he was like, "Well, like, would you make an exception, or could I like make you change your mind?" And I was like, "Look, unless you have a 9.5 inch, I don't think so." And he goes, "Well, actually, dot dot dot." And I was like, "What's your snap?" And so we met to have sex, and a couple days later, he was like, "Hey, can I like help you in your garden? Like, can I come back?" And so we just started hanging out, and his friends would always tease him that we were basically dating, but he's younger than me. He's 21, and I wasn't.
21. You're 40.
41. Yeah. And is that judgment I see in your eyes?
No,
yeah,
that's my
just-
next question.
yeah.
Yeah. That's my next question.
And I was like, look, I don't need to have a 21-year-old boyfriend. And so there was no expectations. And yet we both fell in love with each other.
Okay, so I have to ask you this question. So you're
Who's
41.
the top or bottom?
No, I mean we both know what's going on here. Yes, I'm judgmental. You actually said it too. 9.5 inch.
Yeah. You think he's fucking me with that thing?
You don't think so?
You think I'm much more ambitious than I am at age 41. Listen.
All right, so you have like 20 years difference.
Yeah.
What's like the hardest part about dating someone who is 20 years old, and like do you have a lot of judgment from other people that
Yeah.
like you tell your friends and they're like, why you're dating him, like what's the future?
No, I think my friends are like, when you find on this earth, if you find someone that you have a special connection with, like I think generally like my friends would celebrate me finding that. However, I think maybe for like the people in his life who don't know me and just hear that you're dating a 41-year-old porn producer, like that's a little bit
A lot.
like it's like oh, this is a red flag, like let's investigate this a little bit.
Google everything, especially you can find everything.
Yeah, and I think the idea of me is a lot scarier than the actual me. That like his parents have now met me, and they're like, oh, okay, like I'm actually just a normal person, and I'm not trying to recruit him for porn. And actually, I'm very nurturing and loving, and we have, despite our age difference, we have a far healthier relationship than most people in my life.
You said all the great stuff.
Oh, what's
like
challenging?
the challenge you say besides judgment?
I think you have to just remind yourself that if you're dating someone that's 20 years younger than you, that like you can't ask them to skip their development. Like there's certain things that maybe come up that he hasn't interrogated in his own life before. Or I mean, he's only been out to his dad for a couple months. Like there's things that come up, and when they come up, you can't be mad that they're coming up because you're dating a 21-year-old.
Yeah.
If those things were deal breakers, then that's totally fair, but then don't date a 21-year-old. Does that make sense? Like allow him the space in the room to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, like I'm still growing and evolving, and so he can extend that to me too.
What was your longest relationships with somebody?
Like 3.5 years.
That's pretty
something
good.
Like that. Yeah.
Was it a long time ago? or recent?
10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Yeah, I like age differences in general. I like being like the dad.
Where does it come from?
I think my own inner child feeling unloved. So I get to, in loving my boyfriend, he's almost a surrogate for my younger self.
Okay.
Was that too deep?
All right. No,
Yeah.
it makes sense. You know what? We don't judge. We listen and we don't judge. Do you know this trend?
You don't judge? No. Okay.
I mean, I really don't.
Yeah.
I'm very open like to everything, and as long as it's legal, as long as it's like more or less healthy. I think people just put themselves in a lot of like, how do you say this, norms? You know, I have many friends who's like 30 years old difference, you know, and they're dating for like 5 years already. And they're happy.
Yeah.
What if comes with me, like if they're happy, why would I not be happy for my friend? Like it doesn't really make sense. You know what I mean? And I have many people who are like date the same age and they're like wild.
Yeah, just
you know,
total
not
messes.
navigate. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's about connection and just connecting. I don't know.
I think I've tried to date guys my age, and they're generally like so like jaded and cynical. And with my boyfriend, like, you know, we're traveling to Palm Springs for New Year's, and he's never been to California. And when we have new experiences like that, like I've been to Palm Springs a million times. I used to live there. For me, it's not that exciting to go there, but for him, it is, and I get to like experience something that I love, but through like fresh eyes. I mean, maybe this is why people have children. Like, like
I think we're gonna go in the next segment of our podcast right now. What's next for Davey Wavey? Do you have any plan? Do you want to do more videos?
Well, we just filmed a project in Spain called The
that's iconic.
Manchonial King, and it's based on White Lotus. It's 5 episodes. It's gay men staying at a gay, well, it's men staying at a gay resort. Some are gay, some are straight.
Okay.
And that comes out February 3rd on Humorous TV, but I'll also cut a YouTube version of it that won't be explicit.
Interesting.
So
nice.
Yeah, I'm really proud of it.
Do you ever want to join TikTok?
No.
No.
I don't even have it. You sent me a TikTok link, and I was like, girl, I don't even have that on my phone. Anytime I've taken a step in the direction of increased connectivity with my phone, I've become less happy as a person.
Interesting. It's good that you have awareness like this.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people just keep being connected to their phone, like me, 13 hours.
13 hours. Yeah, and if you do 10 hours, see like how that affects your psyche. And
I
like,
do respond to everyone on my VIP page. So a lot of it is like 6 hours was in Google Chrome. A lot of it
VIP page mean?
on the friends.
You can't say it?
I mean, I'm trying to not to. So,
okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to just say it's less thing and like mute.
Only friends, you say?
Only friends. It's like only friends.
What about only flans?
Flanks. No, yeah, that's why it's like part of the work, and also like constantly looking for ideas. But you continue doing YouTube, continue doing Humorous TV.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Yeah, I'm writing a book.
writing a book.
Yep.
Okay, that sounds like something I would want to do one day.
You want to write a book?
It's someday. Not yet. I'm not ready yet.
What would your book be about?
It would be about my journey from Ukraine, being alone,
Yeah.
finding out, the guys being scared, all that.
Your journey is actually pretty interesting, and so that would be interesting to read. The book that I'm writing is so it's like a collection of, each chapter has 3 parts, like a salacious sex story, then the lesson that is being offered from that story, and then how to apply it to your life. And that part is written with like different sex coaches.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a personal growth. I feel like my story, not that interesting, and I've taken up like...
We've got a lot of interesting stories in this podcast. We started from like Canada and the guy, so we ended like 21-year-old boyfriend.
I just feel like I've taken up enough space.
We've got a lot of good stories, guys. I think it's
more nipple.
it's a good a lot of shorts.
We're getting full nipple.
Anyways, guys, this is him, Davey Wavey. He is iconic. He is smart, handsome, controversial, peaceful, wild. It's all about him. And today he let us in. He let us in his house, and please go check out his channel if you didn't. I actually told him, I feel like everybody on YouTube already at least seen your channel once. But you brought a good point that there's like younger viewers.
Yeah,
I don't have a lot that more. I don't have the. This is like millennials.
Old, dirty old men watching you.
This is millennials, and I have a huge audience after 52 on YouTube specifically.
Okay.
So So they probably seen
yeah,
it.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Listen, I let you into my house and into my heart.
And thank
my
you.
heart.
And into your phone. All right, guys. We just also filmed the video together, so go check it out if it's out already, or if it's not, just go check out his channel. Thank you so much for supporting us. Please don't forget to check out the VAP page, Humorous TV page. You know, we are artists, and we appreciate support here. Artists. No, we appreciate support. We don't have sponsorship on this channel, unfortunately, because I don't have a good manager. So if you know a
those
good...
whole pics are very artistic.
So thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for this beautiful, you know, home of yours.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I really hope that this shoot will look good. All right, little hug. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.
Not us talking for 47 minutes.